Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, good evening, folks. How are we? Once again, we're here in the fight, and I was going to say that blue's a beautiful color, isn't it? I mean, imagine if you had to, like, wear maroon or, purple, like, I mean, it wouldn't be good, would it? Anyway, mighty effort. I was in Tim's Zoom, but I may have had something else on the other side of the screen. But, yeah, big win. Congratulations, guys. Even though it's all part of the cabal's trick, it is something that I've always liked, and I still go back to watch. Yeah, I can't help it, guys. So, good win to the state origin last night, guys. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of things that we got going on around the traps, guys. They're just stoking it up, all right? They are really trying to bring on the next pandemic. Now we got a recall on milk, so they're going to be recalling milk very soon, guys. All right, and trying to make that as scarce as what they're trying to play with the eggs. Doctors are worried that an anti-inflammatory drug, is not good for you. Well, I think they're all starting to just come up with ideas to make, everyone's sick. So you just start bringing up more and more excuses on why you're out sick, guys, without the elephant in the room. And we all know what the elephant in the room is. That was the start of most of our awakenings. Now they're trying to get people on board, talk to your neighbours, get them on board to get your solar panels on your apartment buildings. They don't give up, these guys. They just continue to steamroll forward. There's some other stuff with smart meters and that going on, guys. That, they're going to start pushing it. Man who blew the whistle on practices at the ATO pleads guilty to 4 charges. They've made him more or less plead guilty from what I know of it, guys. All right, on some lesser charges. Otherwise they're going to take him for a row. Why? Because he's a whistleblower. So, the new variant of COVID-19 may be driving up cases in some parts of the world. Really? Well, how about the flu's just hanging around because it's winter here in the southern hemisphere? And we could have a bit more rain on, guys. It's saying another 3,000-kilometre stretch of rain is going to hit our beautiful country. So we're just going to have to keep our eyes open and be prepared, I suppose. But we're going to bring in our guest tonight. and that is the man from the Zoom last night, Mr. Tim Dwyer. How are you, Tim? Welcome to the show once again, mate.
Thanks, Dave. Good to be here. And yeah, we had an interesting night last night, didn't we?
That we did. Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
Lord.
I put up it's Guru here, thinking I'd sort of get in a bit quick, and let you know if you wanted to grab me or do something. I was there, and next minute, oh, I'm Guru. No, I'm Guru. No, I'm Guru. All these things come. I'm just going, and then
Lord.
I went to light up my camera to let you know it was me. And I'd been barred from, which I understand. I couldn't light up my camera and I couldn't light up my mic, So, yeah, all in all, we're not going to give them too much time, but, guys, bring it on all you want,
So, it was an interesting night, and the trolls certainly showed their hand of their degree of mentality and their mastery of the vocabulary of the English language. Was limited to 4-letter words. And it just goes to show, I believe, that there is a strong case for the use of condoms. I really believe that there should have been more of them used some years ago. But anyway, we did have a good night. We had 780 people on a Zoom call. I've never done a Zoom call.
Great.
Yeah, I've never done a Zoom call that big.
Yeah.
We did knock back about 120 people yesterday afternoon, because we had 950, and I was going to leave a little bit of buffer space for people who might have shared the link. But look, all up, it was a great thing. And what we found was the response, the emails I'm getting today are just massive. I mean, so supportive. This is what we got to do. We got to do this. We bring everybody to the whole ethos of what we were trying to get across, I think, struck a chord. And so overall, I mean, to be honest, last night did rattle me a bit, because, I thought we might have got a bit of rubbish in the chat, but I wasn't expecting that on the screen. But once I got myself back together again, I think it flowed okay, and we got the message across.
Some feedback you've got, Tim. You got some good questions and some good stuff starting to come in, have you, mate, or what?
Yeah, I've got a lot of good documents being sent to me, and people putting concepts and theories, just typing it out, not being on a document, just sending it in an email form. And it's going to take me all weekend to go through them and get it all organised for next week. Now, next week's Zoom, we'll have a totally different Zoom link, so the people won't be able to plug in with last week's Zoom link and stuff like that. So we know we won't have the trolls, and what we're going to do is have the people that have got the concepts and the theories and the documents that we can work together with to formulate something better than perhaps what I've put forward. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's what it's all about. Yeah, bringing everyone together to do it. Yeah, go, Caz.
Well, no, I was just going to say what I really liked about it was it's completely doable, but it's a way, it's not a revolution as such, it's a reclamation and a reformation. And so it's completely peaceful, completely lawful. It's a reestablishment of the lawful process. And that's really what we want. We, like they say that we're renegades, but we're actually not. We want this establishment of lawful justice, which is our divine right.
Absolutely. And that's what that big book's all about, is putting the people ahead of the parliament. And it was funny, I rang the AEC today to find out why it is that the writs have not been sent back so as that the parliament can sit. And the AEC said, oh, well, the writs don't have to be in until the 19th of July. And I go, then they're being purposely held back.
Yep.
And he said, oh, no. And so I started reading some of the constitutional bits in Section 5 to him. And he started to laugh. And I said, and you find this funny for what? He said, oh, no. He said, it's just that I have no understanding of the Constitution at all. I said, well, you're in the AEC. It's an integral part of our governance. Why don't you understand? I'll put you onto somebody else who does. So wait on the phone for a bit. No, and he comes back and he goes, look, there's nobody here that can talk to you about the Constitution. I said, I am not surprised. He said, what I could do, I can give you an email that you could put it. I said, no, let's not even waste the physical energy to write an email here. I said, but let me ask you a question. Your position in the AEC is information officer, correct? He said, yes. I said, and you have no knowledge of the Constitution. He said, well, I know we got one. And he's an information officer in the Australian Electoral Commission, right? All we want is to be rid of these fools. And I use the term fool in the full biblical sense. They are fools. And we, the people, we've got a choice. We are living as citizens, Australian citizens, under the corporate government. All we want to do is we are going to withdraw our consent to be a citizen and reclaim our Commonwealth legitimacy over the government. And it's perfectly lawful, like you said, Caz.
Well, the thing I like, yes, but the thing I like about this too is it leaves a lot of the structure. There's very little disruption. So I was explaining it to somebody today at work who is actually very open to it, believe it or not. A lot of people are extremely open to this conversation these days. And rather than actually like having Parliament collapse and chaos and all of that sort of stuff ensuing and that sort of stuff, that is not what we want. This is simply a shift. So if you've ever worked in like a corporate sector of any government department, what happens is there is a new policy. You get a new policy document. So with this, what would actually happen is it would be a very smooth transition, and it would just be, all right, this is the new policy. This is how we approach things, and there'd be a new document, and it would be, the transition would be so smooth and so easy, and it would very little disruption, and that's what we want, because it was done in a day, realistically. If you look at it, was done by one man, one pen, one day. And so we have to actually look at that and go, okay, well, we've got the structures in place. Let's leave them in place. Let's just move it all back. And we'll just basically go to from there. And then we'll start the weeding out process.
Yeah. And that is the simplicity and the beauty of what we're proposing is we don't want anarchy. We don't want chaos.
No.
None of that stuff. And this is the way that I perceive that we can do it. And it appears at the moment, and I've just got where some of these emails are just, you know, like today it was 126 emails I went through today just from yesterday. But I may end up doing a little bit of a get in the car and do a city to city tour to each night go through it with another bunch of people and another bunch of people and another bunch of people. And so what we're doing is trying to formulate a single A5 sheet of paper as an invitation. Do you want to come and learn about this, 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 and this? And people are, as you said, Caz, I think they're open because they, even the most entrenched public servant knows at some level some things are just not right.
Yeah,
it's not even just that. It's people on good salaries. Not only can they no longer afford to buy a house, that's just completely out of the question. They actually can't even afford their rent now. So everyone's looking around going, what the hell is going on? So people are very open to this conversation.
Yeah. And as these new taxes hit, if you're renting, that's going to hit your rent. And if you're already struggling, don't think about buying a tent, because I'll come and tear that down and take
I've got that footage, Tim.
Let's have a look. I can't
even believe this is happening in Australia. Shame on these people. Shame on them.
Let's roll into the show. You council workers, man, I'm telling you, you guys, you know, you're accountable. You should be standing up and going, what are we doing this for, you know, to your bosses, mate. This is just new world order tyranny.
Yep. I have a saying for people like that. It is may the fleas of 1,000 elephants infest your arsehole, right? Because that's all they're good for. That, yeah.
Fleas of,
So,
flea of 1,000 camels, I used to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So the beauty is, I believe we have a solution. And at the moment, whilst I was speaking to the AEC, I said, so therefore, between now and the 19th of July, this country has no sitting parliament. We have a caretaker
They're not back
parliament.
to August. They're not back till August.
Oh, August. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
so we've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, they've really taken a vacation.
Beautiful. So if the parliament does not sit until August, the country is a ship without any sort of rudder, except that diversity hire woman who calls herself the Governor General, and all she was a diversity hire. You got to keep in mind she's supposedly the head of the armed forces, but anyway, there is nobody at the levers of control here. So you and I, if we got our giddy up on and got a little bit serious and got a little bit focused and really, put the pedal down, we might be able to activate a few things between now and then. And when I say put the pedal down, please understand, I'm an old petrol head. As a young bloke, my favorite weapon was an XU-1 Tirana. And it was quite hot. I used to have to run avgas to keep the thing running. But anyway, we'd do a lot of street dragging back in the days. And everybody would be standing there with their bonnets up and bragging about, I've done this and I've got this and blah, 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 blah. Just like today, oh, yes, but I've done this and you don't understand. I got this happened to me and blah, blah, blah. I had a sticker across the rocker cover on my XU-1. And it said this: the bullshit stops when the clutch drops. Right? Here we are today, people, needing to drop the clutch and stop the bullshit. Today, now's our time. The whole government structure is played into our hands. We don't have time to, I'm with this group and we don't like that group and we think we should do this and we think we should go that way. If that's what you want to do it, right? But stop talking about it. Drop the clutch, right? All we need is, as Caz was saying, is to lawfully put a constitutional parliament in place and give the Australian people a lawful document that they can hand into the corporation and say, I withdraw all implied and granted consent under your belligerent occupation. I am now within the Commonwealth Parliament. And we're done. It's simple.
Now, the Commonwealth custodians, they're also already successfully operating under that structure, aren't they?
Yeah, Keith Charles has done a great job on his documents, but it hasn't been broadly used or put out there, and there's a couple of little things that may not need altering, but in doing that, if these documents that I'm wanting to marry together to send to the internationals, the only reason I want to send them to the internationals one more time is so as they can't say, well, we didn't know, right? So they will know. Now, the document that but nobody's handed those documents, or when I say nobody, not enough people have handed those documents into their local politician, the local courthouse, gone to your state parliament, gone to your council, and served your signature document with your oath. And look, in all fairness, some people have emailed me today and said, I'm not swearing an oath to King Charles. I understand. I do understand. However, what we need to do is come back under that constitution. And once we're there, then we have the right, you have the right, the people, we can make the alterations quickly if you want, because we've got the blockchain to do it with.
Wouldn't it just be easy? Wouldn't it just be easy to do the original oath, which is I swear by the Southern Cross to support my, what was the original, the Eureka Stockade oath?
Yeah, you can, except that's not a recognised by international law. Right? Now, that might come back to be the oath. Right? That might replace the swear allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Victoria, her heirs and successors. We might swear an oath under the Southern Cross. But these are the things that can be changed once we get rid of the lunacy of the trusteeship of the United Nations, because Australia is directly under the trusteeship of the UN. And if anybody wants to discuss that with me, I hope you've got a bloody thick law book, because I will win every time.
Well, look, we know that that's who's dictating everything, and that's what's coming down through our councils. We're quite aware of it. Making this change and getting people to do what we need them to do. And, you know, we got a great group on here. I'm not talking to people behind this screen, but a lot of other people I probably am talking to is, to make these changes and get out and do something, Tim. You know, like we've got a lot of different people out there with a lot of different ammo in a round, broad sense of the word. And, the idea now is to bring all that together, you know what I mean, and set up the shots around the perimeter so they got nowhere to go.
See, this is why I want to give people a reason why to move from the corporate over to here, over to the Commonwealth. And that's why we're going to put it out there about the flat 5% tax. We're going to put it out there about the mineral wealth being one share of it, 1% of it being shared to each person. This is why we give people the picture of what a different Australia might look like under different management, if you like, versus where you are now, where you've got your rates you can't afford to pay. The farmers are killing themselves, unfortunately.
No.
It's
we've actually look, we've got somebody that basically I think that this is the clip here.
It's going to happen. The farmers are already struggling. They get hit every time. And Jacinda's just announced another 53 new or revised taxes on everybody. Food's going up, everything's going up, and the farmers can't sustain anymore. So anyway, if I could get written, I'm still going through the commission, which I appreciate. But yeah, put that in writing is what you do, then we've got an idea of what we can do as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sally. Mr. Singer.
Yeah.
No, she said that 17 farmers had killed themselves since the announcement of the levy. That's from, that's well done, the people at Moira Council, for basically taking their council on with regards to the levy.
Yeah.
Interesting statement there. And look, guys, you don't know, if we do take on this this jump toward taking ourselves back, you know what I mean? Maybe we have got the number one box, and Caz and Tim might know what I'm talking about here. Maybe we are set up in a position where I can't say much, guys, but this could maybe work, okay? And that's because we've done some preliminary stuff. We can't say much, but I'm guaranteeing you guys, if you got behind this, I think that we have a pretty solid case, Tim, to be doing what we're asking people to do and be able to taking back part of what's ours.
And can I just, when you finish that word, I want to actually ask a question with regards to this one as well, because they took us out before Charles came along. So realistically, wouldn't we revert back to the Queen? It wouldn't have anything to do. That would be pre-73, yeah. I would imagine.
We would actually revert back to King George, because Queen Elizabeth didn't swear the right oath. King Charles hasn't.
And so they are not. Tim, a lot of our people, okay, we're going to revert back to this. We're going to do this. Now, that's fine. Is this for a season, Tim, until we actually build our own Australian constitution and step out of all that bullshit? So you're saying we're going to take 3 steps backwards to maybe take 5 forward in a progressive state?
Now, King George was the last monarch to swear the lawful oath, although he wore the Catholic crown. So we have to then go back to Queen Victoria. And that's why on my document we swear an oath to Queen Victoria, not any of the modern monarchs. Now, quickly tell you a little story, two little stories. A friend of mine took his teenage son to base camp Mount Everest. And as they were going up Mount Everest, the first day they went up, the second day they went up, the third day they were going up, and then they started going back down a little bit. And he said to his dad, "Why are we going down, Dad?" He said, "I don't know, son. You have to ask the head Sherpa." So the boy, when they had a break, went up and asked the Sherpa. And he said, "Why do we go down? We're supposed to be going up to base camp." And the Sherpa sat down and said to the boy, "Young man, in climbing mountains and in life, sometimes we need to go down a little bit to find a better way up. Now, we have to go down a little bit. We have to go back to that constitution so as we can find a better way for the Australian people." And it's not for me to find the better way or you. It's for the Australian people to figure out what sort of country they actually want to have and how it is to be run and by whom. Now, the other side of this is
go on.
With what we're doing.
Say, we could just drop one right in there. Bring in Trumpet Dan, because is this the country you want, guys? Just bring in Trumpet Dan. And we'll
look at what they're doing. This is so disgraceful as well.
Well, here's my last story before I go.
Trying to pay
Hang on.
for the camping, which is $7 a night apparently, which is pretty cheap. I think for the upkeep and the good work they do here. However, there's no internet anywhere. You can't stop and pay even if you had. And so here we are. We're here in the situation where I'm about to get a fine. How much is the fine for?
One penalty. One penalty unit.
One penalty. Okay. So anyway, we're going to get a fine. I don't know what one penalty unit equates to, but anyway, what a shame. You know, as Australians, we can't just enjoy our country as we were told we could go to a constitution, we could travel freely, and I've explained that I appreciate upkeep of this place would cost money, and I'm prepared to pay, but they're not going to take my money. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, Tim, continue on.
Yep. In that case, what they do have to understand, and that's probably either Victoria or New South Wales, I'm not sure where that was.
That was Queensland, actually.
Queensland, was it? Okay. However, all the forests and the parks are Crown land, not state. State maintains them, but it is owned by the Crown Lands Department. But anyway, moving right along. I've got to head out and jump on another Zoom, but let me finish off with this. We sit here as a number of people, and as we did last night with nearly 800 people on the Zoom, it reminded me of years ago when the railways started moving across America. An old farmer up in Tennessee heard about this thing called a train. So he hitched up his wagon and horse and grabbed his wife, and they jumped in the wagon and the buckboard, and off they went down the mountain, down the mountain, down the mountain. And they got down to town, and there was this monstrous big black thing sitting there. And it had 3 or 4 trailers behind it, carriages. And the old bloke looked at his wife. He said, "Ma, that is so big. They ain't ever going to shift it." Well, soon thereafter, the engineer, the fireman, the guard, and the conductor, they all came down. They fired up the engine, got the steam hot, and blah, blah, blah. And the driver let go of the brake and pulled on the throttle, and she went, made a movement, made another movement, and it started to get momentum, and it started to move, and the old bloke just looked with eyes wide open. He said, "Oh my God, Ma, they ain't ever going to stop it." There's a lot of people out there saying to us, "It's too big, you're never going to get it done." And once we start making a move on it, they're going to go, "Holy shit, they ain't ever going to stop this. No matter what they do, they'll never stop it." That's where we want to be, guys. So thank you so much. Appreciate your backup and your support. And let's just do what we got to do, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks for coming on, Tim. We'll talk to you soon, buddy, and enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Caz.
All right, well, let's just have a look at what's been happening, and you can see why people are looking for solutions at the moment. Here's Rocco with this story.
Rocco Vardy coming to you from the homeless strip here in Horston Park. Huge hugs to Caz, David and Mel for airing the story about court support for this homeless man who's been on the strip for a number of years now. He had a very, very serious accident about late 2023, was a head-on, and what's happened is it was the other driver at fault, where the insurance company, they wanted to get out of it as little as possible, and I spent many weeks of paperwork to get the case into the district court, where on Wednesday he was awarded triple the amount that the insurance company was initially offering him, and he's extremely happy, and every little bit helps. If there's anybody out there who needs help with litigation, reach out to me. But another amazing homeless story. Rocco sending tremendous love to everyone. Ciao.
Good
Well
work,
done, Rocco. Well done.
Yeah,
That's
that's
unreal.
it. This tax levy, like, it's really interesting who's weighing in on it. You've got a lot of people that are weighing in on it at the moment, and one of these people is where is it here? Sorry, I've just got to find
They're
myself.
idiots, Caz.
Oh.
They had to, they've got to be able to do all this spending that they want to do. They've got to be able to find the money. They had nowhere else to go except to go and hit our resources that we haven't even got yet, because that's how highly taxed we are. There was nothing less to hit. There was nothing left to hit.
And it's so over the top that everybody is actually like freaking out about it, including the left. So taxing unrealized gains is actually results in taxing franking credit refunds. This means you are paying double tax. It's against all the rules. You should not pay tax on profit after tax. It's basic logic. And he actually goes on, I think he refers to as economic terrorism. Here's somebody
Shouldn't
that
pay tax on profit anyway. Should pay tax on expenditure, like we all know.
Yeah, well, so anyway, but this is somebody's put this one together, which is
tax that's about to hit all Victorian property owners. The tax is known as the Emergency Services and Volunteers Fund Levy. As of July 1, it'll replace the old tax being the FSPL. Now, this levy is going to affect the majority of property owners in Victoria from July 1 of this year. Now, the way that it is currently calculated is based on the capital improved value of the land. Residential property, it's 8.7 cents per $1,000 of capital improved land. For commercial property, it's 66.4 cents. Industrial land, 81.1 cents. Primary production land, being farmland, 28.7 cents. For public benefit and vacant land, you can see the numbers there. There's going to be massive increases, as you can see. For residential land, it's going to increase to 17.3 cents per $1,000 of capital improved land, which is almost a 100% increase. Commercial land, it's going to increase by over 100% to 133 cents per $1,000 of capital improved land. The biggest increase comes to the people who we should be supporting the most, being the farmers in Australia. Their increase is going to be over 150%. And they're going to be paying 71.8 cents per $1,000 of capital improved value. Essentially means for primary production land, for every $1 million of capital improved value, instead of paying $554, which is what the old levy was, they'll be paying $993 per $1 million. You can imagine for people that have very large farms, the increase in cost is going to be pretty significant. For commercial property, where they would have been paying $931 per million, they're now going to be paying $1,605 per million. And for owner-occupiers, for people who live in their own homes, levy is going to double, which means for every $1 million of capital improved value, you'll be paying $1,730 for this new levy. And it doesn't just stop there. From July 1 of 2026, there'll be an increase in the fixed charge for residential properties that are not used as the landlord's principal place of residence, which essentially means for any residential properties that are investment properties, the fixed charge which goes with this levy will increase on top of the already increased land tax. This is what happens when a government overspends on shit that they can't afford. The taxpayer ends up paying.
Absolutely.
You got it, brother. That was a great little report. And if everyone in Australia can see that, man, their eyes would be awakened, Caz.
Exactly. Look, support these new guys. We we put them out there as much as we can,
Yep.
you know, because like we need everybody speaking up at the moment. So it's and it's great. Now, look, on top of that, they're not just they're going after everything at the moment because these guys really don't know how to budget. So now they're going after the SUVs.
Oh yeah, 25 grand extra 25 grand, Caz, nearly.
Yep. Yeah. So look, and Australia's love their SUVs because
you get a free camera and a free microphone and a shot every like 30 seconds or 10 seconds or something of you and what you're doing. And you have feedback to your insurance company on the way you drive. So if you radically change lanes or speed or do anything ridiculous, your insurance company will just send you a little note, like the police will now send you an email that you've been fined that day, all right, and you've been picked up, and here's your email. You now owe us $1,000. Sorry, Caz, go on.
Oh, no, I agree. So while we're going like this, this is by Zero Hedge. Now, Zero Hedge, for those that don't know, they're actually ex-bankers. And they're actually saying Trump's monetary reset is a gold-backed dollar on the horizon. Well, yes, it is. Now, he actually theorizes wrong in here. He says that, the devaluation of the dollar. No, it's actually going to be the revaluation of the gold. So the gold is going to come up, be revalued at a certain amount, and that's going to not monetize the debt. That's going to alleviate the debt. Okay, but look, while this is all going on, you have this situation where people are actually in the US have noticed the problem that's going on in Australia. So, ex-military officials fears soft tyranny planted by Australia's political leaders who exploited the COVID era for their own gain. Yes, they did. But it's
every
actually
Western
being
country
noticed.
did. Yeah, every Western country did, but we were a test pilot, guys. Yeah, we were the guinea pig for the tyranny.
Yeah, that's it. And Marco Rubio as well has somebody's actually sent Albo a thing and asked, is he banned? So Marco Rubio has announced that officials from a country complicit in censoring free speech are now banned from entering the United States.
Well, hope it is Australia.
I hope it is, Albo. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be funny?
Oh yeah. Oh, jet set Albo, not too jet set now, eh, son? Hey, been landed.
He's been grounded. And then, of course, you've got this. The corruption is just so rife. It's just ridiculous. So secret cameras reveal CFMEU officials taking under-the-table bribes. Oh, imagine my surprise about that one. And then
we got a whistleblower coming out on the CMFEU on the show soon, guys, actually. Yeah, or someone's going to interview him and, we'll be bringing it on the show. So, yeah.
And then on top of it, of course, you've got this high-profile politician allegedly invited a drunk man to his home and raped him. On another occasion, he sexually abused a teenage boy. So, like, it just...
Who's this cretin?
Never ends. This is Kiama MP Gareth Ward.
Oh, Gareth. I thought it was. He's lost a bit of weight. Yeah, that's the old albino pedo. I better not say that, but yeah, he's not a nice bloke. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's.
I take that back, but I don't know. But yeah, he's playing with young boys. We know that.
Well, he's basically pleaded not guilty to 5 charges, and of course here he is with Gladys. Yeah. So unbelievable, isn't it?
Yep. Well, Gareth Ward, eh? We were chasing out the road one day.
There's this very unusual trend happening here. A lot of them are disappearing to the States, like this one.
Minister Jacinda Ardern will begin a new role specialising in technology governance at Harvard University. Ms Ardern announced on Instagram that she's been invited to join the prestigious American university later on in the year. She'll be the first Tech Governance Leadership Fellow at Harvard, working with researchers involved in the growth of generative AI systems, whatever that means.
It means a job for the boys and girls. Anyway.
Does seem like it. And more vaccine injury stuff rolls out. Well, we don't know that we can't confirm it's a vaccine injury, but we do know that this particular person pushed the vaccines, was basically hired for an ad campaign. It's Magda. Let's pray for Magda because, you know, she's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, age 64, because you know what? We don't wish we knew that this was coming and we tried to stop it and we just weren't able to. And, you know, it's just, the whole thing's just terrible. You've also got Billy Joel. He's been diagnosed with a brain disorder. So
they're all seeing it now. Exactly what we predicted, Caz. Exactly what we all predicted and knew was coming.
Well, and the thing is, so we've actually got a little bit of Q news that's interesting. Now, Trump himself, T-Man, actually posted this. He's on a mission from God and nothing can stop what is coming. However, way in the background there, I'm not sure if you can see it, on his left-hand side, or actually his right-hand side, is Pepe the Frog. So Pepe is a shout out to, because Pepe is the Anons, that's a shout out to them. And there was this dummy account which posts very interesting stuff. And he actually said Elon the Grey leaves us. Elon the White will come back at the turn of the tide. Very, very ominous.
There's lots going on over there. I'm concentrating here, but I mean, I'm hearing what's going on over there, and it's mad, mate. It's now they got the judges trying to stop Trump with his executive orders. It's just unreal, you know. It's on for young and old. Every way they're going to come. Well, we know. Yep.
That's right. I wanted to show this story as well. This is a gorgeous story. This woman prayed the hand of God be upon her baby, and look at this.
Believe in God, this is going to make you believe in God. So a hand was shown in the ultrasound looking like he's sculpting the baby inside of this woman's womb. Her name is Amanda Foster, and she posted the picture of her ultrasound, and she saw that a hand was touching her baby's face as if it's sculpting the baby. Mind you, she's a praying woman, and this is what she said. She says, each time before ultrasounds, I've dropped to my knees right in the doctor's office to pray for Kyler. In my prayers for him, I've asked the Lord to repeatedly keep his hand on my baby and whatever his plan may be, for her to trust in it and be fully at ease. She said,
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Like, that's a hand. That is definitely a hand.
Yeah.
That is not some sort of blurry vision or anything else like that. All right. So, look, we're being taken out by Sovereign Spirit Rising, and it was written especially for Aussie News tonight. And so, guys, go and find both lots and give them a follow, because we need more in this battle, not less. So, Dave, if you'd like to wrap up and close the show.
Yeah, thanks to the people who sent the stuff over on the fire ants, guys. But what we're actually asking you to do, we haven't got the time to read books and do this and do that.
That was bees.
I'm really sorry, all the bees and that. Okay, sorry. What we'd like you to do is read it, do a summary, and put it down for us, and we'll get it on the show. All right, there's 3 of us here, guys, 15 channels. We can't do that. Okay, we want you to become involved. Okay, that's what we want.
And look, every phone has got an ability to record. Every phone has got, just record something, even if it's just a 30-second report on something and you don't want to show your face. You don't have to. So please, we've got to, you guys, look, let me tell you something, okay? I've got 3 degrees, one's a master's. You guys are just as smart as that, okay? You've got the information there. We're just asking you to just basically get familiar with a bit of tech and do your reports. You can do it. Please do them and send it to us. So
you sure can. So, guys, you know, anyone that watched the State Origin last night, okay, we don't stop. All right. And as I said to you during the show, who just knows what little special we've got lined up for you when we do come to getting to somewhere to taking our country back, guys, because we just may have something for you. Okay. So keep the faith, keep working hard. Keep pushing at what Tim and all these people are trying to do, bringing everything together and the best of what we got into one place to go. All right. And you might be very, very surprised at what you actually already have. Okay. Thanks, guys. Night.
by the ink of the charter in fields long ago, where kings bowed to truth and the people rose. They wrote in the scrolls what cannot be sold, that freedom is ours, not borrowed or owned. I walk with my birthright, not license or chain. No contract of silence, no corporate name. The crown is a shell, the court a facade, but I know who I am. I answer to God. Raise your flag, hold your ground. From common law we rise unbound. No number defines me, no system enslaves. I'm sovereign in spirit and fearless and brave. They may laugh at the truth, but it's written in stone. We're not just a voice, we are flesh, we are bone. You can keep your black robes and false legalese. I see through the fiction, the tricks and the fees. I stand on the soil, I claim what is mine. My rights are eternal, not ruled by a sign. From the straw man they built in the silence of birth, to the birth cert they traded, denying my worth. But paper can't hold me, nor codes in the dark. I'm light in the shadow, I'm flame in the spark. Raise your flag, hold your ground. From common law we rise unbound. No number defines me, no system enslaves. I'm sovereign in spirit and fearless and brave. They may laugh at the truth, but it's written in stone. We're not just a voice, we are flesh, we are bone. They took our consent with the stroke of a pen, built towers of lies again and again. But we are awake, we're many, not few. We don't seek permission, we live what is true. So raise your flag, let it wave. We're the fire they could never tame. With the Magna Carta carved in stone, we won't be bought, we won't be sold. You can't cage the heart, you can't leash the mind. We're sovereign by nature, eternal by design. By the ink of the charter, by breath, by blood, we rise with the ancients, we break from the mud. Let them scoff, let them scorn, we still hold the line. For truth is our birthright, and the stars are